Okay, so this was recently brought to my attention. I noticed on the Spyro Facebook group page that Crash Bandicoot actually appears in the Skylander Academy TV show, and the Skylander Academy is a new show by Netflix, and it's based on the Skylander games. And I myself, I'd never played the Skylander games, mainly because I remember that they took the iconic Spyro character from the Spyro games that I loved from the PS1 era, and he kind of changed his appearance, and that really just put me off completely in even playing a Skylander game. And because his new redesign makes him look more like a kind of a gargoyle rather than the Spyro that was just perfectly designed in the first three games in the Spyro trilogy. Now, I know Crash Bandicoot, he appears in the 9th or 10th episode of the show, and I've heard mixed things about it, and I had to investigate this. I had to investigate the subject of Crash Bandicoot. I wanted to see what he looked like in kind of a cartoon form, and what he'd look like in this kind of version of the Skylander version of Crash Bandicoot. And I see why people are put off by it, because in this version, we do actually see that Crash Bandicoot talks, and he talks with an Aussie accent. And from the comments, people really didn't like that. They really didn't like that he had an Aussie accent, and they didn't really like that he spoke so much, because we're so used to Crash Bandicoot just being a mute character, a character that kind of does a lot of his speaking with his body language. And we didn't see that in the Skylander episode. We see that he speaks fluently and he speaks with an Aussie accent. But what I want to do in this video is I want to say that Crash Bandicoot has appeared before in kind of a cartoon form. Now, not in the sense that he had his own cartoon show, that he was on the Cartoon Network channels. No, in the sense that he actually has appeared in cartoon form in the games of the years. Now, one of the best discoveries of last year was in fact that they had this cutscene that was never used for Crash Bandicoot, and it was way back in Crash Bandicoot 1, and it was a really interesting cutscene. It was a really clever cutscene that I'm fairly sure it was either used in the game or it was used as a selling point for the game. Now, the cutscene was really well done because it had this wonderful recap summary of what Crash Bandicoot is, the basic plot point, all put in 1.5 minutes, and it was actually wonderfully done, wonderfully well edited, and the animation style really fitted in with the style that we see in Tasmania and Animaniacs, and it was just so much fun to see. And it kind of had this kind of theme song, and it was a theme song that felt like something in, of course, Tasmania. It had that same feel to it, in which you see all these characters and you see all this absolute craziness and this anarchy, and it just fitted so well with Crash Bandicoot. And it's just a shame that Crash Bandicoot never actually just became its own cartoon series, and it would have fit in so well with all those iconic cartoon series back in the 90s. Now, years later, Mind Over Mutant, one of the last official Crash Bandicoot game, they too done their own style of cartoon cutscenes for Crash Bandicoot. Now, they themselves decided to do different styles of cartoon animation for each cutscene. So in one sense they had kind of a Dragon Ball style cutscene, they had a South Park style cutscene, and then they had more traditional style of cartoon cutscene. So in saying that, we actually have seen Crash Bandicoot in animated form, but just never on this kind of small screen or on a Cartoon Network. Now, in his appearance in Skylander, I mentioned that he does speak, and I'm just going to say he actually has spoken in the past. He actually has spoken in a Crash Bandicoot 2 promo, and this was years back. Now, this promo had pretty much Crash Bandicoot introducing the Crash Bandicoot 2 game, and he was just telling everyone why you should play Crash Bandicoot 2 because it's awesome and blah blah blah. But it was really weird because we never seen Crash talk that much in Crash Bandicoot 1, and all of a sudden he's talking so much, and he's got this crazy amount of energy, and he's cracking jokes left, right and centre, one after another, and he's doing impersonations, and he's got this wacky amount of energy. It just felt so weird, and I'm so glad that Naughty Dog decided not to actually have this version of Crash Bandicoot, from 2 to 3 onwards. I'm so glad they decided, let's dial this back, let's make Crash Bandicoot that that we know and love, the type of character who's kind of quieter, more mute character, the type of character who uses his kind of body to actually speak to people. He also does speak very briefly Crash the Titans, where he says pancake. You know, it's like a catchphrase or the only thing he can say. And I didn't like that either, because he kind of, it made him feel more simple-minded rather than, you know, a character who's fully fleshed out. It just didn't quite work for his character. So in just saying that, Crash Bandicoot has spoken in the past. The game developers over the years, they've decided just to keep him mute. But you must remember that TV shows and game series they're different. Certain characters who are silent in a game, that wouldn't work quite so well in a movie or a TV show. So that's why the transition has to be different. When saying that, I'm glad that they've done a few things right. First off, they honoured the actual appearance of Crash Bandicoot, because he looks exactly like how he looked in the first 3 Crash Bandicoots. He had that exact same appearance, but just more detail. It was more high definition version of that character. There was a greater sense of detail in his hair and his fur, and that looked absolutely fantastic. They didn't change him up too much, didn't add tattoos. It was just a really good look for him. The Aussie accent also works for his character. He's from Wampa Island. The idea of Wampa Island being close to Australia actually also makes sense. He actually also spoke with an Aussie accent in the horrible Crash Bandicoot 2 promo. So him actually having a Aussie accent, it works really well. So I have no problem with that. The problem is that he just speaks a little too much. You know, it's a weird transition for gamers to see this, to see Crash Bandicoot appear on screen and talk so much in such a brief amount of time. I do like, however, the way that they use the original Crash Bandicoot music, and I do like the references to the first Crash Bandicoot game. They make references to Dr. Neo Cortex, and they also make references to Crash Bandicoot trying to stop him from making an army of mutant animals, which of course was the plot point to the first Crash Bandicoot game. So what does this mean, Crash Bandicoot appearing on a Netflix show like Skylanders Academy? This is great for Crash Bandicoot, in my opinion, because this opens up a new audience for Crash Bandicoot. Crash Bandicoot is seen by kids, it's seen by an older audience, so this is just really generating Crash Bandicoot's fan base. So when Crash Bandicoot does return in a remastered version on the PS4, people are going to be ready, people are going to be prepared to go back and play this iconic character again. And I'm just going to leave it at that. That's my opinion on how I feel about Crash Bandicoot's cartoon character and Crash Bandicoot's appearance in Skylanders Academy. And I just want to ask you guys, what do you think of Crash Bandicoot's overall look in the Skylanders Academy episode? And what do you think of his voice? Did you like it? Did you hate it? And if you liked this video, definitely give it a like. And if you like the channel, please give it a subscribe. Thanks for watching and stay tuned for another episode.